Good morning, world. And I'm really still a little bit caught by the first panel, which I enjoyed a lot, and we heard a lot about climate communication and how to build a vision of the better world. And now we will try to give one example of how you can bring change into the world in an area where we all spend most of our time, usually a lot more than with our family. Usually more than we would want to, actually, and where we don't only spend so much time and energy and emotions, but we also actually have a huge impact because all the emissions and all the environmental destruction is actually happening by companies. There's a very, very limited footprint that we have that is not going at least through a company. Even the electricity we consume at home or the gas we put into our cars for our private commute is delivered by companies. And there is, we want to change the world. We cannot just do it as consumers and as voters. We have to do it in the workplace. And we cannot continue destroying the planet from 9 to 5 and then trying to fix it at 5:30. That's just not possible. So the workplace is an area where we can and must make a difference. And we, with Planet Groups, we are trying to make that easier for employees. Because we were talking in the first panel about appreciation of the position people are in. And right now, if I'm in a company and I'm in a IT system administrator, or I'm in purchasing, or I'm in marketing, sustainability is not in my job description. And if I feel my company should do something differently, I usually don't do anything because it's not my job, right? In the pure sense of the word. And it's usually not appreciated in any organization if you leave your pocket and actually try to change things that are not your job. People will tell you, well, this is not your job. Well, okay, this is not my job, so nothing I can do. And even if people then do ask me, well, okay, it's not your job, but what do you suggest? Then people in the company, most people will say, well, I don't know, because I have no experience. I'm not a sustainability expert. I just want you to do something differently. And then most of the time it will die out. But, and we'll share you a few slides in a second, it is very important to have everybody on board in the transition and everybody involved. And actually, companies need everybody involved. So how do we bring this together? Make employees like build an avenue, build them a bridge where they can make a difference in their company. That's what we try with Planet Groups. And I'll walk you a little bit through our process, show you some tools. Berangere will help me, or Ed as our sales and business development colleague. And we have two people here that are running companies that are Planet Groups. You are not a Planet Group, you have a Planet Group in your company, you have established it, we had a kickoff. So Eric and Pana, maybe you would like to introduce yourself first, and then I'll give it to Berangere to introduce herself. And maybe start with Eric. You were the first Planet Group.
Yes, actually we were, right? Yeah, my name is Eric Adelt. I'm from Bielefeld in Germany, and I'm running a medium small company. We're producing marketing goods, everything from ring binders to sample books, that kind of stuff. So haptic marketing, we call it. We've been doing that for 65 years. My grandfather started the company, and right now we're about 50 people. And we're on our way to becoming more sustainable. With some help from Tim and his team since I don't know when did we first talk? February, March?
Yeah, we talked in February. I think we had the first meeting in May.
Yeah.
And one sentence, Eric, what do you hope to get out of having a Planet Group in your company?
What I really appreciate, what we've in part accomplished so far, is that it's not me pushing the sustainability wagon along all by myself, but giving others a chance to join in and actually do their bit, and everyone at his own pace and with his own thoughts, ideas, and abilities at each and every part of the company. Actually, that's what we're trying to do.
Thanks, Eric. Pana.
Hi, yes, my name is Pana, and that is at least how most people that know me call me. My full name is Panayotis Nikolaidis. I am the founder and current CEO of Savings United. And yeah, for me, it's an honor and a change when I look at the last panels in the last year that I've been to. It's an honor to be here today. So we at Savings United, we are currently around 120 people working in the mass consumption marketing industry. So I'm not able to hear you, but I was hoping for some boost. And right now we help around 100 million people worldwide find the best deals and find the best coupons when they shop online. And as you, maybe just a few more numbers to show you the magnitude of the problem. So right now our GMV, or gross merchandising, is around 100 billion. It's around $1 billion per year. So that is the transaction volume that we turn around. And we, of course, help some people that need stuff, buy stuff in a more, in a cheaper way. And we also help some people buy sustainable things, but we also help a lot of people that are bored and want to shop. And we have a lot of people that, feel impulsed to shop when they find a good deal. So I think what we are looking for is we want to be more in harmony with the society and our environment and the planet's future. We want to work towards a system that we love and towards a world that we love. And we want to do it with this company. And obviously that is going to be a challenge. So I'm looking forward to continue our journey with planetgroups.
Thank you. And Berangere, to close the round, what made you join planetgroups and what is your role?
Well, I worked for many years also in the consumer and retail industry, and I worked for big multinational corporations and groups, whether it's Carrefour, or AS Watson, or LVMH, and it was, I guess, you work a lot, it's satisfactory, but at some point you realize that you're not so happy with what you do from a it doesn't have much meaning. So I decided to leave my job, and I thought this was a pity that I would have to leave my job and that career. And then I met a team and I joined Planet Group, and since a few months, since March, I've been discussing with a lot of companies, also large size, small size, and I realized that there is no need that employees leave their company or leave their job. There is a way we can help them really drive that transition from within. So this is what I'm doing at the moment with Planet Groups.
Thank you very much. Good. So I will share a few slides with you, but your introduction already helped me also, Pana and Eric, to make one statement, because people ask us, do you help every company? Only also those that are part of the problem. and I really liked your introduction, Pana, because you said I'm part of the problem, or we are part of the problem. We're big time part of the problem. We're driving consumption, right? But every company is part of the problem. There are very, very few companies around that are really regenerative, which means that every euro that they make, every product or service they sell is actually helping to make the planet a better place. Very, very few companies. There are role models like Ecosia or like the Tomorrow Bank, who are actually using their power and their product to really use their revenues to turn the world into a better place. But most companies have a very long way to go. And as long as they're serious, they're welcome. And so if you want to have if you're in a company in a cement industry or an industrial agriculture, or even in the fossil fuel industry, if you're serious about change and if you want to turn this into a solution, we're happy to work with you. And as long as we have the feeling that you're really driving it and not just using it to window dress your activities, then you're welcome. Good. I will share a few slides, and then please ask all your questions in the chat. Share my screen, and I hope that will work very well. Just hang on one second. Now you should see my screen. Maybe someone can give me a feedback if you see it. I don't hear anything. Just want to make sure I'm not talking.
Yep.
And nobody. Can you see my screen?
It's on screen. It's on screen.
It's on screen. Great. Thank you, Eric. So this is Planet Group. This is our why. This is what you have already mentioned. This is what Berangere mentioned. We want to bring three areas together that belong together. That is employees who want to use their job to actually build a better world, who want to have purpose and meaning. We help them to actually find a better job without having to change companies by transforming their own job. We are helping companies who see that they want to go in that direction, who see the business need to transform by bringing everybody on board, and all of that for the better of the planet. That's the real win-win-win situation that we have. And this is really a not political approach, because everybody is winning and because this is about a better world. And we help companies to find the best way where they can help create this better world. We don't focus on the problem. We have talked in the last panel about how do we create awareness, how do we create connection. We don't focus on the disaster. We do mention it. It is part sometimes, but it is not where we stop. It is what we're bringing at the beginning, and here you see two graphs. One is the last 400,000 years. You see temperature, CO2, and sea level very closely aligned. And this is the Holocene, the last 10,000 years. And you see the CO2 levels and how we have boosted it up in a period of less than 100 years, a bit more. We're already at 415 parts per million. So this tells you what we are heading into. This tells you what kind of sea level, what kind of temperature we'll have. The last ice age was only 5 degrees colder, and all of Europe was covered by thousands of meters of ice. So you don't have to be extremely smart to understand that we have to change. This is something that recently Professor Schellnhuber said, ich sage Ihnen, dass wir unsere Kinder in einen globalen Schulbus hineinschieben, der mit 98% Wahrscheinlichkeit tödlich verunglückt. This is not what we want, and this is something we have to avoid, and this is something we have to really bring everything we have behind avoiding that and building a world where this doesn't take place. This is what we show, but this is the second part we show, and this is, again, being in the panel before, you have to have a vision, you have to have an idea where you want to go here and now, and not just avoid something horrible in the future that you have no influence and no stakes in, but we have a business, and this business is operating in an industry. And you see here two graphs of the cost of solar going down, and already here being below the operating cost range of already built fossil power plants. So the question, will it be more expensive? No, it will not be more expensive. It will be a lot cheaper. And that makes a lot of sense, because if you build a solar power plant, you get the energy for free. If you build a coal power plant, you have to keep buying the energy, let alone, of course, the environmental harm. So it's just a no-brainer that we have to get into people's minds. There are studies here by Systemic that shows that in the next 10 years, 70% of all the industries will have low carbon technologies being mainstream, mass market. So every company has to ask itself, in 10 years' time, will I be offering these solutions? If I am not using and offering these solutions, I will not be in my market. I will not be a technology leader anymore. I will be out of business. I will be the Nokia, the Kodak of the future, the Yahoo. So we try to get companies to act in a field where they're most sensitive to, and that is still the money bottom line. In order to maintain your business in the future, you have to act, even if you don't care about any ethical environmental issues. There are studies out there that show that the most climate-aligned companies are outperforming the non-aligned companies by 6 times. This is done by Riedel, based on science, a great consultancy that we will have on the panel this afternoon when it comes to carbon accounting and impact measuring. Really looking forward to that. So how do we deal with that? How do we offer an avenue to change with Planet Groups? I mentioned in the last channel, it's 3 things that you have to do in order to get people to change. Create a vision, create spaces and structures, and create interaction. This is what we do. We empower employees by providing them with a structure and a story and a legitimation by their management to act. We give them a lot of space where they can interact with each other and with other planet groups, thereby also reinforcing the momentum. And we tell a new story, and the new story is this is not about avoiding the climate disaster. This is about building a better world, and this is about the role that your company can and must play in building this better world. This shows you how planet groups are positioned in the company. You do have company management, and sometimes you have a sustainability department, and the planet group is not taking their place, obviously not. The planet group is a change agent. Planet groups are groups of employees who support their company to become planet positive. So everyone who wants to be involved in planet projects can now be involved. So we provide the legitimacy and the vision and the structure so that even if I'm in the IT department or in purchasing or in the canteen or in marketing or whatever, even if sustainability is not in my job description, I now have the right and the structure to involve myself to make a difference so that my company turns regenerative and planet positive. That's the role of the planet group, driving projects, but not executing the projects. They were still executed in the hierarchy. So if I am in the hierarchy in HR and it is about changing the bonus structure of the managers, then yes, I am involved in execution, but I'm involved in HR and I involve myself in the redesign, in the circular redesign of my products, I suggest, and then work and give it to the people in the product design to empower them, to help them, to support them, to acknowledge them, to appreciate them, to provide them with ideas, to continuously provide the energy we need for the transition. I mean, we need to change our companies by at least 90 degrees, some by 130, 140 degrees, almost go the other direction. And, everyone who has ever worked in an organization knows that this is not so easy. This is the structure of a planet group. It looks a bit spacey. Important to know, the planet group is the core unit. And anyone who works on a planet project, and that is regardless whether this is about urban gardening on company premises, or recycling waste, or going into a circular customer relationship by sharing models or platform models, or is it about developing regenerative materials, or doing a purchase power agreement on renewable energy, or regardless of the project, if I work on a project to get my company to turn planet positive, I am automatically part of the planet group, and I'm automatically invited every 3 months to a meeting where we share, where we celebrate, where we show to each other what we're doing. And I'm also able to attend meetups with other planet groups. And then we have a coordinative circle, call it the planet circle. And then we usually have 2 or 3 people that we work with every day. Sometimes we are asked, do you also work with companies that already have a green group? Because there are some companies that already have employee green groups. And yes, of course we do. And then we do not force them to call themselves Planet Group. If they call themselves Earth Group or Green Warriors or whatever, they can keep their name, obviously. And we will also not enforce our structures and processes on them, but we just try to help them with whatever we have to offer and align it and see it that we provide and add value to their work. Obviously, the actual work takes place in the planet projects. And the question we also ask, that you ask yourself, is, so where do we get the time? And we recommend to companies that they say, well, 2 hours per week you can spend on planet projects without having to ask. If you want to spend more, you have to get in touch and ask your direct superior if he or she gives you that time. So the resources are not for granted. You have to get the resources, the time resources from somebody if it's more than 2 hours a week. And then obviously it depends on the business case. Does it enhance our employee or employee attractiveness? Does it reduce costs? Does it improve our margins? Does it enhance our customer centricity? And if we can make that point, then obviously we can spend more resources on it at work. But while of course we are always free to also invest more time of our free time if we want. But the point is not to add extra free time hours to the work. But the point is to change the things we do and do them differently. So the entire point of climate action in the company is not to work more, but it's to do the core things we do differently. What do we work on? We provide companies with also a mental framework and planet groups. This is taken, one is the scope 1, 2, 3 model that you take from the greenhouse gas protocols. Scope 3 obviously is the least known, that the equipment you use, the things you buy, the distribution, the logistics, the business travel, the employee commute, the use of your products and services, the end of life of your sold products, that's all part of your scope 3 footprint. That's usually the biggest. And what companies usually do not have in their mind that they can and must also impact is what we call scope 0. Others call it the handprint. It's the indirect influence that we have on the climate system through media, industry associations, politics, advertising, finance, communities, our customer outreach. Obviously, companies like Savings United, they have so many customers. So how can we use that outreach that we have to make a societal difference? Our employees, our shareholders. That's a lot that we can do. And the 4+1 scope model, the whole area of offsetting and compensation and carbon removal and regeneration, renaturation, obviously is a crucial element of climate action as well. And companies more and more involve themselves in it. So that's the 4+1 model, how companies act. And just to give you a timeline, the question is, how do we start? Well, we start with the first step. And then we take the second step. The first step is a call with whomever. An employee calls us and says, I want my company to change. And then we ask that person, well, have you talked to HR? Have you talked to your communication department? Do you have a sustainability manager? Get someone from management and then have a second call and a third call. And once they say, okay, a planet group is a good thing to have, it will help us in the transition. It will help our business case. And we have another workshop with more people from management. We have a short survey. Then we have the actual planet groups kickoff. And that's the reason why we have two of the smaller companies here, because we also have large companies that have a planet group. The largest has 9,500 employees and is one of the big four auditing companies. The German subsidiary, one is a very well-known German school book publisher. One is an IT distributor and retailer. They have more than 1,000, 2,000 employees in Germany alone, but they are not there yet. They are still in this preliminary phase of management workshop and survey. We'll have the one kickoff for the 9,500 employees on the 8th of October. We do help in the starting workshop also to do the content work. While normally we provide the change structure and do not provide the sustainability ideas, we help because, of course, we have a lot of sustainability know-how from our backgrounds and from our work with other planet groups. While mainly we have the confidence that the company knows what they can do, we just help them by providing ideas and a framework to develop the solutions and provide interaction with experts. We do, of course, involve ourselves as much as we can in our experience as well. And then we have a regular process. We have a collaboration platform that I'll show you in a minute, where projects are uploaded and can be shared when we can see what the others are doing. And we have the regular planet group meetings, the planet projects, and the planet circle. Let me give you a short tour and show you what our platform looks like. And if you do not see my screen now, because I changed the screen, I would need a sign from someone. I hope you can see this. This is our planet collaboration platform. This is where the planet groups upload their projects so that they can see what they are doing, but also they can see what the others are doing, and they can find people if they need help. And we structure them in three manners. Either you can look for a specific solution, and we have structured the solutions by those 4+1 scopes that I have described to you just now. Or they can find people that do the same kind of work by looking for other companies in their industry. So you can see here how we structured this. Or they can find solutions and other people working on the same projects by going by job function. So if I am revising my travel policy, for example, in HR or in travel management, other companies are working on the same questions. How do we do it money-wise? How do we do it in terms of acceptance? How do we do it in terms of time, balancing it, how much carbon does it actually save, and how do people react to it? How do we communicate it? You can exchange and learn and get best practice ideas. You of course also have your own profile. You can say who you are, what you do. You can connect with other people. And here you also have again the solutions. So for example, I can look for what other companies are doing. Let's go to the public sphere here. There I can see everything that's happening in the the handprint, the non-tangible impact on the climate system. Let's go to finance to give you this example. And then you can see an overview of what's happening there. You have some subgroups when it comes to money and how you deal with your money. And here you see projects, and we have researched these projects. They are not from existing planet groups. And to just give you one example, what a project would look like then, from the Danske Bank, there is a short description, and then you can see here a planet impact, a business impact, and a people impact. And you see there's not much written there, right? And this is when we started developing this platform, this collaboration platform, our assumption was that if I want to take action and I want to learn from others, get best practice and benchmark what I do, it is so difficult to find things. It's so difficult to find people who are working on the same topics. If I'm an expert, yes, but if I want to do it myself, very difficult. And so we researched this project, and actually so difficult to get information, so difficult to assess, is this serious or is this just greenwashing? So with that platform, by the planet groups uploading their projects and sharing what they're working on, we hope to help companies a lot by getting access to people. And whenever you have a project, there we see who uploads the project, and you can get in touch with them and ask them, can you help us? Can we learn from you? Can we perhaps pool our resources? We have, for every community, we have moderators. This is actually a very early version. So Savings United is the first planet group that will be on the planet, as we call it, the planet. So we are then looking for moderators, which can be consultants or people that are academics, that facilitate the discussions a little bit, and they upload some articles or some introductory articles. And here you can see those, like on case studies and climate change considerations, or the EU taxonomy, for example, which obviously will be a big thing when it comes to sustainable finance. So let me go back to the presentation. Again, I hope that you still follow me. If not, give me a shout. You should now see a slide that says the Climate Collage and the Climate Solution Game, to give you also one example how we get that on the ground. There is a great game developed by a French NGO called the Climate Collage, where people can, in a playful way, experience for themselves the challenge we are in and what this will lead to. And in the end, people are usually quite shocked to see the complexity and to see the severity of the climate crisis and how it will play out if we don't act. And then we don't leave them there, but then we lead them to actually identifying what they can do. We have another game that we call this Climate Solution Game. Actually, even Savings United, you haven't played it yet. We have it, I think, on the 17th of September, next week. We walk them through a short journey of the old system, how we got here, because we are not destroying the planet because we're bad people. We are destroying the planet because the incentives in the system are causing it. we are behaving in a perfectly logical manner, and we have to understand why our behavior is logical. But we have to understand where this has led us, and we have to understand why this is now changing. Because this is, even if we like it or not, it is changing. It's just a question how fast it will come. There's a great study that we also have on our website by Rethinks. It's called Rethink Climate Action, that says the disruption caused by the technological changes we are seeing in solar energy, in storage, in food systems, it would lead to all of us being at zero emissions in 2035, almost by itself, if we just stopped funding and subsidizing the incumbent fossil fuel-based industry. So it's really a question of changing the incentives of the system. Then the new solutions will come. And of course, that will not come by ourselves. We have to use them. We have to support them. We have to put pressure on the political system, and we have to, of course, show to others that they work and that they are superior to the old system. So we lead them to what we call the 6 pillars of a planet-positive economy, which is renaturation, renewable energy, circularity, regenerative agriculture, regenerative materials, and community. And this is what the new economy will look like. It's the question whether we reach it by design or by disaster. It's the question how fast we will reach it, but this will be the new economy. And if we engage in these 6 pillars as a company, we will not only do our share in preventing the disaster, we will also do our share in being prepared for the disaster, because to some extent we cannot avoid it anymore. And we will make sure that our company will be among the winners, regardless of how it plays out. And then we let them play. We let them develop a vision where they want to go, provide them with possible action items, benefits, and a vision, and then they develop their own solutions. And then from there, they engage in projects. So here you see the 6 pillars again in a more structured manner. Actually, today at our lunch break, we have created 12 rooms where you can meet and network with the other people. 6 rooms for each one of these 6 pillars of the planet positive economy, and then also 6 rooms for the panels of today. So we have 12 rooms available. Last slide, what does it cost? It costs, depending on the size of your company, between 13,000 and 21,000 euros per year. So that makes it between 1,000 and 1,750 per month. This adds up to 13 consulting days that you can spend really on more workshops or more trainings or more individual consulting. And most of it actually so far has been on individual consulting. So like we have a stand telephone line to the people and regular exchange, and try to really make this customized to the companies. On top, you get access to the Planet collaboration platform and the meetups with other Planet groups. And we help in marketing, and we have an annual conference that all Planet groups can access to. So what are you waiting for? You can have a Planet group in your organization too. And I stop sharing. Now look forward both to questions and first some comments, feedback, maybe by Eric and Pana, and also Berangere, if I forgot something or something important to add. How has it played out for you, and what benefits do you see? Maybe you can share a bit also after seeing the presentation. And of course, people in the audience, please ask your questions in the chat so I can pick them up and answer them or give them to the panelists. Who wants to start? Eric, Pana, Berangere?
I can go first, or you, Eric?
No, go ahead, Pana.
Okay, cool. Yes, so I would say our company was founded 10 years ago, right? And then we started in the beginning, like most early stage startups, to battle against death and fight for our survival and become a little bit more stable. And the second we became a bit more stable, and I would say that was 5-6 years ago, more and more people in our organization, definitely including me, started getting into a sense crisis, right? So we were asking ourselves, what are we actually doing here? If we scale this more, what have we achieved? Have we just, taken a little bit of money from left and put it into right and hopefully in my pocket? So it was becoming more obvious for us that we needed to change something. And then we started thinking about what can we do, how can we align with our shareholder base and all that kind of stuff. And that for us was a difficult and very complex process. And in the end, we had like a free piece of paper where we could, together with our colleagues that are extremely interested in becoming active and changing and transforming our organization, we were starting to think on a white piece of paper, how can that be done? And for us, working with Planet Group just offers, a nice framework. You've seen the collaboration platform. You have seen the categorization and the already existing solution. So for us, it's just a nice framework to structure ourselves and to add more consistency to it. And of course, it is also nice, out of my perspective, to add a little bit of external input into our process that just enriches us and makes us a bit faster at times.
Thank you, Pana. And do you want to add how many people of your company joined the kickoff meeting? Because I thought it was so impressive, but only if you want to share.
Yeah, of course. So I think fully independently of me or maybe even planetgroups, etc., we just have normal people working in our organization. You know, we are not angels and we are not devils. We are just ordinary people. And I think in our days, it is quite common to be interested in the climate crisis and to be interested in possible solutions. So in our first kickoff meeting together with Tim and Berangere and the Planet Groups team, we were, I think, around 60 people. Is that correct, Tim?
Yes, exactly. 60 out of 120.
And maybe what I can add here is that those 60 people, I think a big portion of them are continuing to be active right now. So we have had multiple meetings and conversations after that, and we are currently discussing products and changes to our business model that we could implement.
Thank you. Thank you, Pana. Eric, do you want to add?
Now with my company, of course, with a company that has been running for 65, close to 70 years, it's very, very different from a startup that really starts out purpose driven. I mean, if you do a startup, usually it's because you've identified a problem, you've come up with an idea for a solution, and then you set out with a bunch of like-minded people to make the world a better place. And over the course of a couple of decades, some of this enthusiasm, drive, or however you call it, gets lost, and a lot of people come on board with the very, very natural intention to just make a living. So I'd say about 90% of the people come to my company because they get paid at the end of the month. So that they're not purposely, trying to destroy the planet or anything, but we've got lots of people that are not academics. We've got quite a bunch of people that haven't even finished high school education, and for them, just getting along, make a living out of whatever they can do is hard enough. So to give those people a guideline, to give them a vision, you have to really take care not to to speed things up too much. You really have to take care not to put them into a crisis mode where they just freeze up because they think that the climate crisis is coming and there's nothing they can do about it. So the best thing they can do is just to crawl under a rock and just forget about things. But also to empower them, to show them ways of how they can contribute to small solutions every day. And I think the tool you just showed, the planet, I think that will become really valuable to the community. I mean, we've been there from the very start, and I think it with us the first couple of months was like, I don't know, we were you could compare it to the person at the first phone on the planet, but had nobody to call up. So now that the network is building, it will become more and more interesting, more and more powerful, with this exponential growth that networks usually bring along with them, the exponential exchange of information, and that will be really helpful to us, I hope.
Thank you, Eric. There are a few things in the chat that I would like to use either to address and to add. You were praised in the chat for your courage, to just do it. We are a completely new startup. We went online in February. Our processes are not established. We have no proof of concept. And you said, well, you can help us. Let's do it. Yeah. And actually, even this, unfortunately, I cannot mention them, but one of the big 4 auditing companies. I'm so excited that they just said, there's a sustainability manager there that said, I have 2 people for 9,500 people. How can I make a difference? And presented the concept. He said, yeah, this is cool. Let's do it. So it takes courage to take the first step and also dare to try something new. And I really also want to thank you for having that courage, and it was just mentioned in the chat. And the platform that we have is in 3 languages, but it's automatically translated. So the basis is English, and the German and the French version often is not so nice, but people can upload their projects in the language of their choice. It is still a challenge, the cultural thing. While I am German, the organization is very international, and Eric's organization is very German. And even when I sent them, we have a presentation, what you can do for climate action by job family. So what can you do in HR? What can you do in logistics? What can you do in purchasing? What can you do in strategy? What can you do in products? It's in German. And the people at Adelt, they said, well, this is too English. So there's so many Danglish expressions in it. So it's a cultural thing. And I think Eric's idea with the Planet Group from the start, as I understood you correctly, was not only sustainability, but also getting innovation and engagement up in your company. We're still working on it. We haven't, it's not that the company is up to speed. It's still a process of getting people on the ground actually engaged. And there was one question also, do you work on the business models? It is actually addressed to Pana. Pana, you can say a word to that, but of course it must be. So for Eric's company, their core expertise is paper. And I mean, what can you do with paper? You can do packaging, you can do furniture, you can do energy. you can switch it from trees to grass or hemp, I think, or bamboo. Or I mean, it's the driver for the transition. So it's really not about just reducing your energy. It's yes, we also discovered how much oil you burn in your plant. Yes, we want to switch that to a heat pump, but it's about using your expertise to offer solutions that your clients want from you. You work with football clubs, for example. They want to know how to be regenerative. Many of them are now at Planetly and trying to use their fans, and you can offer them solutions. So it's also about customer centricity and really changing the core business models and making offerings to the world, to the customers, so that they can be planet positive too. And Pana, do you want to say a word about the business model thing?
Yes, sure. So, I mean, you already gave the answer. I will try to be short.
Sorry.
Yes, we definitely have some groups even thinking about how we can reconceptualize our couponing approach and how we can use the positioning that we currently have in the market. So we work, of course, with the end customer and the online shop advertisers. Those are two groups that we engage with and that we call clients. But we also work very closely with some major media companies around the world. So these are the 3 main groups that we connect. And we believe that we can not only change the couponing business so that it does have a positive impact in the end, but we believe we can use our positioning between those 3 groups, as just mentioned, to offer new cool solutions that we are currently not offering. So I think this is something that I would say. And yeah, I agree with you. I think I believe that not just the very cool and definitely inspiring and awesome role model companies like Tomorrow or Ecosia are extremely important and helpful. I also believe, like you said, that every industry basically has to change, right? We need to change how we produce energy. We have to change how we produce goods. We have to change how we consume. We have to change how we eat. So everything needs to change. And we are definitely part of the system. And as everything needs to change, and there's this Damocles sword above everyone, we definitely want to be part of the group that does it first.
Yeah. And we also have a presentation out on how to develop business models that thrive on less, not on more. So how to actually create business models and offerings that reduce extraction and increase regeneration. So there is so much that every company can do. There's one question. Do you help in the communication part? Because that's so important. Yes, we do a lot, as much as we can, of course. We are a small, young organization, but it's crucial. The three most important stakeholders we work with, except for top management, is HR, it's communication, and it's, if there is, of course, sustainability. These are the three core people and departments, and we take our time to get the organization ready to start with us. So to prepare actually the email, the shout out, the all hands to all the employees that, okay, we have a planet group now, to make sure that people are not completely confused, because they're a little confused anyway, but not too much. I would like to pass this also on to Berangere, because you're on sales, business development, communication. Also the French part, maybe you can also add on that question on communication.
Yes, I mean, in the past few months, I spoke to a lot of and interviewed a lot of companies, and sometimes really big companies, Mondelez, or we spoke to Johnson Johnson, and some of those who already have sustainability strategy or green teams. If they're a really large company, they realize that communication but also empowerment are complicated, because they are stuck in the complexity of their process, their usual O charts. So having a green team and finding a platform where they can collaborate a bit freely, without necessarily having to follow exactly the budget process and the decision is very liberating for them and empowering for the employees. And on the other side of the scope, I would say, for maybe not as a smaller company, but employee movement, who are more grassroots movement, where it really started from a few employees having lunch together and wanted to do something about the transition of their own company, then that communication, that collaboration was very important. And forming themselves, grouping themselves as a collective. And there is a big movement in France called Les Collectifs, where you have really big companies, from energy companies or manufacturers, EDF, Michelin, etc. And they have those groups of employees or green teams, and it really helps them to consolidate their message and bring something to their management which is a bit structured, and not just asking for sustainability, but really contributing with ideas and P&Ls and challenging sometimes the business model, but in a very professional way. And the movements in those companies are very fruitful, and it's pretty exciting to follow them. And I think what we do with Planet Group is exactly helping them to structure this, not just a grassroots movement who has a lot of ideas but doesn't know how to execute or how to present those to their board. And on the other side, corporate movements who are too structured and too stuck in their process, how to actually empower and give that communication platform to their employees.
Yeah. Thanks, Berangere. And we, for example, we provide slides that you can integrate into your slide deck, how to convince your top management. We have email templates for every stage of the process that you can use. And actually, a lot of the work we do is individual coaching. So we send an email like this, can we bounce this off you, and can we get your feedback? And then we provide feedback to add to it. So that's a very important part of our work. Yes, Pana.
Sorry, just a short question. I saw that Martin Vogel also raised a question about the vision. Do you want us to pick it up quickly?
Oh, please. I haven't seen the question yet, so add to it. I look for it.
Okay, cool. I felt very connected to the question, therefore I'm mentioning it. So mm-hmm. Martin Vogel wrote, as part of the process, do you rework on a company purpose too? Mm-hmm. And the answer for us definitely is yes. I think it's incredibly important to look at the impact that you want to have with a company holistically. And I think if you just say, okay, now we also have a planet group somewhere and they do also something, then it will not necessarily work. I think we need to change the direction that we are taking as companies, and we need to change the metrics that we are measuring in order to see our success. And therefore, yes, I think changing the vision and adapting the vision is incredibly important.
Thank you, Pana. Yeah,
right. Maybe I'll join in that, because Thomas Pleil mentioned something like that as well, as with the change of mindset. I think that's something that I really hope that we can work on together, because a lot of people in my company, and I think that's typical for German industrial Mittelstand, have a quite reactive mindset and a fixed static mindset. And if we can get more people in an active and change and expanding mindset, I think that will enrich their lives. That will be a huge opportunity for companies, for society. And if we can get, let's say, our salespeople, our product development people, not to accept what the customer wants, but to play an active role and suggest better solutions, that would really help. And of course, we're trying that, and we've been trying to do that for years and years. But if you're like in the first percentile of a changing economy, the chance of your new ideas meeting old ideas with the customer is like 1 to 99. So if we can build a network of like-minded people where we could come up with new ideas and meet people out there who'd say, well, that's exactly what I was looking for, and not, well, go away with this new stuff and let me just keep my business model. That would help so much in getting people to be more open-minded, more active, more daring, you could say, and more in a role of changing the future instead of just accepting it and living through it. And that's what I really hope that we can get out of the Planet Groups network and like-minded people here. So that's sorry, muted myself there.
Yes.
I think that's part of what Thomas also mentioned, and I think that's really, really important, because you, especially as a CEO, you can't reach everyone in the company. You can't suggest how they should approach a problem. That will just cause a blockage there.
Thank you, Eric. A great closing remark. We are over our time budget. We now play our image film. There are two things. If you think our approach is worth supporting, do start a Planet Group in your company or in organization, wherever you work. It needn't be a company. It can actually also be an academic institution or whatever. This is our core KPI. It's Planet Group signed. So if you want our approach to work, use it. The second thing is, this is the launch of our crowd investing campaign. We have it on this thing, planetgroups.net/crowd investing. You can make money and earn 6% on whatever you invest in. It's not, the process of investing takes about 15 minutes. So for 50 euros, maybe you can start with 50 euros, but it's a bit of an effort. So better invest more than 50 euros. And now we play our image film. Great to have you here, Pana, Eric, Berangere, and see you at 11 with Wim Vermeulen at the Decade of Action. And thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.